Right, we come to Shadow Home Secretary Chris Wall.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I join the Home Secretary in paying tribute to the people and emergency services in Liverpool. This year so far has been the worst in history for illegal immigrants crossing the Channel on this Home Secretary's watch. The government's laughable claim to smash the gangs lies in tatters. They're not smashing gangs, they're smashing records. Now, you mentioned the French prevention rate on land is lamentably under 40%, and even those stopped are then released to attempt a crossing again the next day. And although she talks about action at sea, nothing has happened whatsoever. We saw those pictures at the weekend of French police just standing there, taking photographs while illegal immigrants departed. So, does the Home Secretary agree the recent 12-year fishing deal should be suspended until the French agree to stop those small boats at sea and prevent illegal immigration?
Home Secretary.
Well, I would obviously remind the Shadow Home Secretary that when he was Immigration Minister, he said, "I will continue to push my French counterparts to look hard at interceptions at sea." But 5 years of Conservative government later, the French government hadn't agreed to any changes at all. This government has reached a new agreement with France, and we're now pressing for that to be operationalised as swiftly as possible. But we won't take lessons from a former immigration minister who let legal migration treble and small boat crossings soar more than tenfold on his watch.
Illegal immigration levels are at record levels under her watch. As usual, she doesn't answer the question and she doesn't take responsibility. So let's try this instead. It emerged yesterday that the Attorney-General, Lord Hermer, chose not to refer a man given just 28 months for rape for a longer sentence under the unduly lenient sentencing scheme, which the Attorney-General can do. Yet Lucy Connolly got more prison time for a tasteless tweet. Why does Lord Hermer think rape is less serious than Twitter comments? This is two-tier justice in action. And doesn't this show Lord Hermer has appalling judgment and the Prime Minister should fire him?
Home Secretary.
Well, again, this is from a former policing minister who saw, under his government, saw the charge rates for rape plummet, saw the charge rates for domestic abuse plummet, and saw the charge rates for crime drop substantially. This government is supporting much stronger action on violence against women and girls because we recognise the serious damage that these crimes do. Shamefully, the previous government left us with a shocking legacy on crime, on immigration, across the board. This government's turning that round.
As I speak, there is a removal van outside the illegal immigrant hotel in my constituency. Let's hope they're moving them out and not moving more in. Can the Secretary of State assure my constituents that these illegal immigrants are not being dispersed in the community, being housed in HMOs owned by private landlords, and will she advise me where they will be housed? Thank you.
Minister.
Mr Speaker, anyone who's in a hotel is someone who's claimed asylum and having their asylum claims pending of being dealt with. They are not necessarily at all illegal immigrants, and the honourable lady should make that position clear.
Jane Kirkman.
Mr Speaker, on Saturday, 1,200 illegal migrants poured into the United Kingdom by small boats. Many give spurious reasons to stay here. So when will the government repeal the Human Rights Act for immigration cases and take back control of our borders?
Mr Speaker, tackling illegal migration means that we have to work across borders in cooperation with other jurisdictions. Were we to leave the European Convention on Human Rights, we could not work with those that sign up to it.
John Morrow.
Mr Speaker, since taking office
almost a year ago, the Home Secretary has spectacularly failed to put a cap on illegal immigration. She's failed to put in place a deterrent. And after this weekend's record boat crossings demonstrate, she's quite clearly completely failed to take control of our borders. So what can she say, in all honesty, to my constituents about her plan? Because clearly it isn't working.
So the honourable member's question, given that she was a member of the previous government, might be rather more plausible if she apologised for the 100-fold increase in small boat crossings under her government's watch, and also the quadrupling of net migration as a result of the policies that she supported in government as well. If she wants to support stronger action against illegal migration and the gangs who are organising it, why won't she support the counter-terrorism powers that this government is putting into place to go after them?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the Home Affairs Select Committee, we've heard very worrying evidence about unaccompanied children arriving in this country and being placed in wholly unsuitable accommodation, staying in rooms with adult males, and there are clear safeguarding risks. There are clearly issues about the age assessment process at the border and also the responsibility of those contractors who are organising the accommodation. Can the Home Secretary or the Minister tell the House what steps the government are taking to make sure that children in this country are safe?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, when people arrive and claim to be children, there are tests at the border to check whether we think they are. If they are accepted as children, they are put into local authority care and so shouldn't be in asylum accommodation at all. If they are seen to be adults and end up in asylum accommodation, they can always make an appeal to the local authority that they are in and undergo what's known as a Merton age assessment test, which will decide once and for all on their age.
Around our Asylum Hotel and Blackpool Seafront, we're seeing increased numbers in illegal working in our takeaways, bars and restaurants. So can the Minister outline to my constituents how this government's tackling that illegal working to make sure that we can have safe spaces for these people in the jobs in our vital tourism industry?
Mr. Speaker, we are tackling it by increasing enforcement significantly, which is why we've had a 40% increase in visits and a 42% increase in the number of arrests for illegal working. There are fines of £60,000 per illegal worker discovered, and those who are discovered working illegally can be arrested and get on the route to deportation.
Surely the best way to tackle illegal working is to make more legal opportunities. The Island of Strangers immigration policy is going to have huge issues for the workforce in Scotland, with the Keir Service saying it could threaten the whole sector. Meanwhile, asylum seekers waiting for their cases to be processed are in effect an unused resource. So why not shorten the time asylum seekers have to wait to be allowed to work to help bring some relief to these sectors?
Mr. Speaker, we're shortening the time that it takes to process asylum claims by getting the system we inherited from the party opposite working again, which is why there's been a 63% increase in the number of initial claims processed following the 70% fall in the period before the last election.
Oh, my. Sorry, Graham Stewart.